in the 21st century, and even when I started back in the early 90s and late 80s, and the fact that you've got to convince folks, sometimes the power structure don't want you, they didn't want me, they didn't want a woman from Eastern North Carolina, and they were very verbal and articulate about that. And now the barrier of money is a tremendous barrier for folks.
People don't visualize women doing that. In fact, there are some people who say a woman can't do whatever it might be. Those obstacles are not as steep a challenge as they were when I first started and became the first woman on the Council of State. But still, there are a lot of barriers that have not been broken. We have a lot of counties in this state that have never had a woman county commissioner. That's sad. That ought to be a challenge to a lot of women to get out there and work for those positions. We've had a lot to go on school boards, but not a lot in every county on county commission. And certainly we're underrepresented at the North Carolina Senate, the North Carolina House of Representatives. If you kind of believe we ought to be there in presence like we are in the population, we're woefully underrepresented.
We were working for ERA and wages to be increased, and still working for that as far as that's concerned. And for women to have a place on boards, and of course, if you'll notice my sort of resume, I am on a lot of boards and have been over the years, and have many times sat on boards when I was the only woman present. So the accomplishments that have been made and the accomplishments that are being made now, and what this institute is doing for North Carolina and for the nation as far as that's concerned, is just showing them what women can do. And even if they don't go out and run for public office, what they can do in their counties and the state is just phenomenal.
My story has been one that I once tried to get appointed to the town council in Wallace, and that didn't happen. And about a year later, I was working for Governor Hunt's 92 campaign and did the field organization statewide. And then about a year after that, I was Deputy Secretary of Revenue, and then became Secretary of Revenue, and then went over to the Employment Security Commission, first as a deputy and now as an assistant. But that it can be done. That women have to learn to feel confident in themselves, very confident, and to be able to speak on issues and in the right way so that they are listened to rather than discarded, so to speak.
I never really saw barriers to being able to enter into politics. It's a decision that I made after talking with my family and my friends, and then just went ahead and paid the money, filed to do it, and jumped into it. So it's not something you should worry about what the barriers are. You should look at what the opportunities are.
When one of my sons came home from school, in second grade, he asked me if I was as bad as the children in his second grade class said I was. And we talked about, Emmett and I, the whole concept of campaigns and about the negative things that are said by a candidate trying to win the same office. And Emmett and I and my whole family, and I think many people around me, learned pretty quickly to separate the public criticism from the personal criticism. And you've got to be able to do that to get through the day, because this is a tough business.